rainbow. That's pretty nice. The evening sun and our spray of 30 knots here. Dolphins sometimes. And it's a proper training. For the race I lost a bit. I was dealing with the mainsail. My batten is not right and I had a big pocket with water. So it's good to do this kind of things, to stay sharp.
The first leg of the Vendee Arctique from the start in Les Sables d'Olonne up to a waypoint just to the southwest of Iceland had been a punishing one. It had been a long, hard slog upwind, and a lot of the skippers were forced to take things very carefully for fear of breaking their boats. But that didn't stop some retirements. First it was Sébastien Simon aboard Archaea Paprec with a broken foil. Then Damien Seguin on Groupe Apacil was forced to retire with a broken alternator. And then came Armel Tripon on L'Occitane en Provence, who had structural problems. But for the rest, the long hard slog north gradually settled down as conditions eased. And then they began to ease a little bit further.
I'm not sure if you can see, but there's a dark stripe on the water here. And I believe that's some new wind. Also, it's turning right now. Look how the boat is turning. You can see. There is PRB. He's on the other tack already. That wind that he has, I'm just waiting for, and then I'm gonna tack as well. It's not like in the tropics. The sea is more a bit black, not so blue.
Picking the right path was tricky, and after 3 days, Thomas Royan aboard Linked Out lost his lead to Jeremy Bayou aboard Charal. But there'd be plenty more place changes ahead as the tricky conditions threw more snakes and ladders over the course. What was also interesting was to see how the new generation boats with their huge foils and complex hull shapes compared against the older generation boats. While upwind is not necessarily the best conditions for these new generation of boats, they were still quicker. But that hasn't always been the case, and I think we're starting to see the product of the second generation foils and the tweaks and developments that have been going on the top boats in the fleet. One of the best examples of the difference between the previous and current generation could be seen with Sam Davis's impressive performance in fourth as she stayed in contention with the top three. Hers is a previous generation boat that's been heavily modified, and it's pretty quick. As the front runners approached the first waypoint after 5 days at sea, it was nip and tuck. The top three boats were Apivia, Charal and Linked Out. It was Thomas Royan who sneaked ahead to round the IOC UNESCO waypoint in the lead, just 1 mile ahead of Apivia and 3 miles ahead of Charal. But as well as upwind, light winds aren't good for the big foils on the new boats because they present so much extra drag. This provided a big opportunity for the boats behind, who still had a bit of breeze, to catch up. The race was on again.
8 miles from the UNESCO waypoint, and the sun came out. It's not too cold. I'm warm because I just moved some sails around and prepare for the tack. I have some stacking going on deck, and the cockpit is a little bit a mess. But the interesting bit is that we have, like on a close to a weekend race, we have here PRB and the Samantha Davies initiative. And what you cannot see on the tracker is that the wind is from here. So PRB, who is behind me on the tracker, in reality is in front because he's a bit closer to the wind. I would say he's just on the line where you have an advantage. When he tacks, he will be in front. So regarding to the wind, he is a bit closer to the mark. But anyway, we don't give away anything and try to catch them. Talk later.
As the front runners headed south, they were now 5 abreast, but with Boris Herrmann in the lead. The light conditions and the relatively slow pace of the fleet had led the race committee to decide to shorten the course slightly, which would also avoid the risk of the fleet getting bound up in the high pressure system that was developing over the Azores.
So this is the first evening heading south on the Vendee Arctique les Sables. On board Initiative Pierre, triple head reaching. It's kind of rare when you're doing solo sailing to manage to put that many sails up. It's night time, but it's still light because we're so far north. There is a night, but it's not very long, and it's really nice sailing right now. And I'm in company. I've got 2 boats just behind me: Boris Herrmann and Kevin Escoffier, Sea Explorer and PRB. So it's pretty good because you can use each other to push yourself a bit harder and get the maximum boat speed. Yeah, it's just great sailing. It's not going to be like this all the way, and it certainly hasn't been like this for a lot of the race, so I'm going to make the most of this this little stretch to try and get some rest in and recover and get ready for the next set of manoeuvres coming up in the next couple of days.
This is shaping up to be an even closer race than most people even dared to imagine. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned because we're going to be bringing you some more, and don't forget to subscribe. Till next time.